I'm Markeia.
Want to hear something scary?
Stranger in my room. Siblings often have a deep connection, a special bond, but still trust your instincts. If a sibling's personality suddenly changes, if being around them goes from being safe to being in a deadly situation. Like in this story, inspired by Lucas. The Cunninghams looked at their new baby, Finley, with their hearts full. She had beautiful, deep brown eyes, and everyone fell in love with her, especially her big brother, Lucas. Despite being only 6 himself, he was fiercely protective. They shared a room, and at night, Lucas would read her bedtime stories. Late at night, he'd peek over and check on Finley, just to make sure she was okay. The night before Finley's first birthday, Lucas awoke to a loud slamming sound. The window had blown open, and the shutters were banging against the walls. He looked over at the crib to see Finley sitting straight up with her eyes closed, mumbling something. She had barely started to say mama or dada yet, so it was unusual for her to be babbling so much. Then she fell silent. Lucas rushed over to her, and Finley's eyes shot open. He was horrified to see her wide, suddenly crystal blue eyes piercing into him. This was not his sister. He ran to wake his parents. They rushed in to check on her, but although taken aback, they mainly seemed unperturbed. They said sometimes a toddler's eye color can change, but Lucas felt no such sense of relief. Over the next few weeks, Finley grew fussy. She didn't want to be held. She cried nonstop, and she destroyed the books Lucas used to read to her. Again, his parents explained that she was approaching the toddler phase, and this was normal. But Lucas had a gut feeling they were wrong. He had a feeling it would get worse, because now he didn't know why, but he was afraid of the sister he'd once adored. Over the next couple of years, Finley grew mean and developed a vicious temper. She threw things at her brother, destroyed his toys, and even bit him. By 3.5, their parents were at their wits' end. They couldn't have company over because her tantrums were too much. They were just this side of dangerous. The only thing that calmed her down was coloring with a red crayon. She'd draw, then scribble over the same pictures over and over again. It was always 2 fairies. One day, when she was oddly quiet, Lucas bravely asked her about the fairies. She said they were her real mommy and daddy, and one day they'd come back for her, and she'd make them pay for what they've done. Lucas was upset and scared. Grabbing her hands, he snapped, yelling that their real mom and dad were in the kitchen. Finley screamed and began hitting him. Her eyes rolled back into her head. She grabbed a sharp pencil and sliced at his face and throat. Blood splattered all over their teddy bears. Lucas's parents rushed in. They grabbed Lucas and rushed him to the hospital. Fortunately, he had survived the attack from Finley, but his parents didn't know what to do, blaming themselves for raising such a naughty child. The night before Finley's 4th birthday, Lucas jumped from his sleep, hearing the shutters clang open across the hall and Finley's room. He sprinted in to see what was happening. The windows had opened so abruptly that the glass panes had shattered on the floor. He rushed to her bed to find Finley sitting up, mumbling. As she slowly opened her eyes, he gasped. They were the same deep brown as the day she was born. She reached for Lucas with a smile on her face, something she hadn't done for years. Their parents ran in wondering what all the noise was, and she ran into their arms. They hoped for a happy end to this mystery. But doctors and psychologists had no answers. A spiritual advisor did. The parents were ready to accept any explanation. She told them that the blue-eyed terror must have been a changeling, that fairies live among us. When they have unruly and sometimes even murderous offspring, they can swap the child to be raised by humans for 3 full years. If their child kills one of the other's family, they get to keep the more peaceful human child. If not, they have to swap them back. The only thing the real Finley remembered was sitting with the fairy mother on the night the changeling was brought home. The changeling's parents didn't want their little sociopath back, but it was fairy law. As Finley and the changeling toddler were exchanged, she felt a dark energy. She looked out of the window and saw the monstrous fairy youngster with red, beady eyes. In the magical realm of the fairies, it would gain more power than it ever could in ours. Floating backward towards its parents, the changeling held Finley's gaze with a wicked grin. "I'll be seeing you again soon, sister." If you feel like you aren't getting enough vitamin D from your diet, don't just ignore it. Ritual's Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin was formulated by exhaustive research to help fill nutrient gaps in the diets of women ages 18 plus. It's formulated with nutrients to help support brain health, bone health, blood health, and provide antioxidant support. I love Ritual because they are committed to third-party testing from USP and the Non-GMO Project. Traceable and vegan-friendly ingredients, and always clear communication. No shady stuff. I also really enjoy taking Ritual vitamins because I no longer have to worry about vitamins that taste like chalk. Ritual's Essential Multivitamin is essence with mint. I know it's going to taste good. Ritual makes taking vitamins a part of my daily routine so easy. Right now, Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/scary and turn healthy habits into a ritual. That's 10% off at ritual.com/scary. So here's the thing. Our producer, Treese, really wanted us to use this software called Monday.com WorkOS. Treese produces a number of shows, and we all have our own way of working. That's why Monday.com was the perfect solution for us at SomethingScary and Treese and all the other shows she manages. It has the flexibility to let each team and even each team member visualize their work their way. At the same time, it also helps us centralize each show's work into one place, giving us and Treese transparency into who's working on what, where work stands, and helps us track our impact with easy-to-build dashboards. Way to help us work our way and help us work better together, Monday.com. To create our podcasts and videos, we have writers, illustrators, and editors all working on one project at the same time. With Monday.com, managers have full visibility into what their team is working on, no check-in necessary. The platform is super flexible, so teams can customize it to fit their needs. Create a workflow from scratch or simply pick a template. Get started right away and customize it however you want. To start your free 2-week trial, go to monday.com/podcasts. That's monday.com/podcasts. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like and share this video if it gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on the bell for notifications. And if you dare, follow me on social media. Until next time, my dark darlings, sweet dreams.